Take a look at this tree. Tall, smooth bark, leaves that look like this. They're called eucalyptus, and they're everywhere here in California. Everywhere! In front of the library, on the side of a hill, by the side of the road, in the forest. But you know, something's missing. Koalas. Koalas are one of the few animals that are known to eat eucalyptus, and in fact, their diet consists almost solely of its leaves. Are you hungry? And with so many eucalyptus trees around and so much food for koalas, you'd think there'd be a lot of koalas too, right? Well, that's not actually the case. Eucalyptus is actually over 700 species of trees, and koalas are only known to feed on about 80 of them. This species right here, Eucalyptus cladosalix, is one of the most common species in San Diego, but it's actually toxic to koalas. In fact, there are many reasons why koalas might not be able to survive. When you take an animal out of its native habitat, all sorts of problems start to occur. For one, the climate of San Diego is a lot cooler than the koala's natural habitat, and there aren't any large carnivorous predators where the koala evolved. They wouldn't fare too well in the face of Californian predators like coyotes or mountain lions. And while there are strands of trees like this throughout the state, none of them are large enough and continuous enough to sustain a healthy koala population. In fact, habitat fragmentation is one of the largest problems for koalas in Australia. So it doesn't look good for my dreams of wild koalas roaming San Diego, but if koalas and eucalyptus are from the same place, then how is it that eucalyptus can survive here? Well, not all organisms have such specific needs. In fact, eucalyptus has taken quite nicely to its home across the Pacific. Some consider them an invasive species. What is an invasive species, though? Is an invasive species good or bad?
I think it's bad in most cases because I guess like a key example would be like ice plant, like you see it like all over like the cliffs around San Diego and pretty much the California coast.
Probably bad. I'd assume bad, yeah.
It can be both good and bad.
What is an invasive species?
An invasive species would be like a species like of animal, plant, whatever, that goes into an area that it originally was not, and or interferes with like the life of other things in the ecosystem.
Invasive species.
It's like a non-native species that comes in and like takes the niche or like position of like some other species and like, kind of fills that role and kind of pushes it out to the side, makes it more marginalized, and then eventually just kind of takes over and like spreads around, I guess.
An invasive species, I think, is a species that doesn't belong to a certain region, but it comes in and takes over the resources.
What characteristics does an invasive species need to have
Needs
in order to
to
be a successful invasive species?
better at competing for the resources.
Anything else?
I don't know what else manifests it now.
Okay.
I think it would just have to have the characteristics that give it better survival skills so it can outcompete any of the existing species already in the area.
Just has to be able to use the resources where it's introduced at better than every other species that's there. Yeah, whatever it's competing against.
Can you name any invasive species?
Besides ice plant, Scotch broom, I think there's some like lionfish, I think that's one of them. Can't think of any more right now. Yeah.
We're learning about like a zebra snail or like zebra sea snail or something like that. But basically it was, I want to say it's a snail, but it was like a snail that came over and like invaded different lakes because like people were like bringing their boats and, you know, using them on one lake and then like taking it off and then like moving to a different lake.
Like rats or like mongoose that went to like Hawaii once.
Did you know that trees can be invasive species too?
I didn't know that, but I could see how they are. Yeah.
I didn't, but I can see how they could be.
How can trees be invasive?
Can trees be invasive?
Yeah.
Their roots interfere with the surrounding plant life, so I'm assuming somewhere in the ground, right, the roots kind of just spread out and then prevent other plants from being able to acquire nutrients from the ground.
It's going to be invasive by the way that they release their seeds, I feel like, because it can be carried long distances by animals or by the wind, and so wherever they take root, like that's where they might end up growing up, and so by that process I think trees can be invasive.
Many invasive species are able to grow at a rapid rate, allowing them to outcompete native species. Some invasive species reproduce quickly, allowing them to utilize available space and resources. Many are generalists, which allows them to take advantage of a wide variety of food resources. A high dispersal ability allows invasive species to expand through many different habitats. Being able to tolerate a wide variety of environments allows invasive species to withstand harsh environments that are unfriendly to other competitors.
Zebra mussels attach onto bone motors, holes, rods, and sponge wraps, which can hurt humans and also damage their property. They also eat the tiny particles in the water, reducing the amount of food for other species to eat and also outcompete the other mussel species as well. Ice plants can grow quickly, covering the ground and preventing many endangered plants from growing. As it spreads, it can choke out other plants and also change the soil composition. The wild boar can reproduce quickly due to the lack of predators hunting it, as well as its ability to adapt to a wide variety of environments. It can eat almost anything, thus allowing it to outgrow other species. In addition, it can also cause damage to property, crops, and other foods for other species.
Although eucalyptus trees don't have a particularly aggressive dispersal method, they can grow quickly and can tolerate a decent range of temperatures. Once established, eucalyptus trees are very resilient and are very strong competitors for sunlight. Their bark, leaves, and branches can litter the forest floor, stifling sunlight for competitors. The leaf litter even leaches chemical compounds that inhibit the growth of other plants. These traits and more make eucalyptus a pretty good contender for invasive species. It's pretty crazy how just one genus of trees can lead to such an interesting story. The world around us is amazing. So next time you're out and about, stop and take a look. Never know where your curiosity might lead you.